Dill is a fantastically flavored herb, but two questions. Number one, does it have medicinal benefits? And number two, do women who are pregnant need to be cautious with dill? Hey everybody, Chad Cruiser here with Health and Homestead. And when you're looking for an herb to grow on your property, on your homestead, you're looking for something that's easy to grow, tasty, and just adds something very nice to your meal. And you find that in dill. Dill is something you can start every few weeks. So you have younger ones like this. You have the ones that have, these ones have actually hit maturity. I only see one seed left. Most of them have already dropped. It's, you know, just a great food. It's something that tastes so good. It's one of those herbs that you're wondering, where have you been all my life, right? I mean, I think about it. For years, I was eating, different salads. You buy the box salads in the grocery store, and you eat those herb salads. And I'm like, man, these herb salads are just like the best salad out there. It's like you don't even need salad dressing. They just taste good, and really it's because of the dill. Dill just adds a fantastic flavor to really any kind of savory dish. Maybe you've had something like borscht, that wonderful Ukrainian dish that's really its main essence are the beets, and maybe it has some carrots and potatoes mixed in, but also you throw in some of the dill and it just has that wonderful flavor. It just tastes fantastic. And so you think even simple things like potatoes, you can take some of these little sprigs here and you just you can put them right there on your potatoes, and as you cook them, and it just adds this wonderful flavor to the potatoes. And so many levels, these things are fantastic. But we also want to know, are they beneficial? Do they help out, or are they detrimental? Well, let's look into the research. But before, obviously, there's some benefits to it. You can simply take some of the seeds like this. You literally just rub them in your hand, and as you rub them, there you go. You have the seeds. I mean, it's as simple as that. So if you're looking to save seeds, it doesn't really get any easier than something like dill. So dill is just a fantastic, simple plant to grow. Like I said, if you succession plant them, you plant them every couple weeks, you'll be having fresh dill throughout the season. Your early ones you can save for the seeds. The later ones may not even ever make it to seed later in the season. But let's begin to look at the research here. So first of all, a study was conducted. We're looking now at the medicinal benefit. We're going to start off with that. So what about dill and diabetes? Here's a study called The Effects of Anethum Graveolus, or simply dill powder, supplementation on clinical and metabolic status in patients with type 2 diabetes. Simply asking the question, what happens when you feed dill to diabetics? Well, let's see what this research actually showed. So what they did was research was conducted on 42 different people with diabetes, divided into two groups. One group was given 3 grams a day of dill powder, while the other group received a placebo. And dill powder had a significant impact on lowering insulin resistance and also lowering cholesterol. So if you know someone who's a diabetic, or maybe you're even pre-diabetic, and you think, well, hey, I'm just pre-diabetic. My doctor says it's good. I'm not diabetic. Well, it is good, but being a diabetic increases your chance of some cardiac event like a heart attack or a stroke by like 65%. Having pre-diabetes, you still have like a 50% increase of a heart attack or a stroke. So the reality is, just being a pre-diabetic is still very serious. And once you hit like age 20, you have like a 40% chance of being a pre-diabetic. Once you hit 75, you have like a 75% chance. So the reality is, you get to the point later in life where the majority of people are pre-diabetic. So avoiding pre-diabetes is something you want to do by a healthy diet. One of the things you can do to help to ward off insulin resistance is simply adding dill to your meals. So this is great. It can also lower, as we saw, your cholesterol. Now, it doesn't lower it as much as cholesterol lowering medications, but the great thing is there's other health promoting ways that you can actually lower it just as much as any cholesterol lowering medication. We'll have future videos on that. But this is one thing you can do to simply help out your blood sugar levels potentially and your cholesterol. But what about the issue of pregnancy? Now, one of the things that we see is there can be some dangers with inducing delivery of a child. So in general, you don't want to do that. There may come a time where you, with your doctor's help, you have to do that. The child's just is not simply coming out. But what does the research actually show on Dill's effect on induction of labor or inducing labor? Here we see that a study was conducted comparing oxytocin, or what is called pitocin, which is, by the way, oxytocin, you've probably heard about it. Oxytocin has been called like the love hormone, where it's this kind of chemical within the body that as a mother has a baby and she begins to bond with that baby, and especially large amounts of it are released during breastfeeding, that is that kind of love chemical, and it's released also for women in a special way with deep emotional relationships and potentially physical relationships. But this oxytocin can actually be injected, or pitocin can be injected into women to induce the labor so that they end up having the child. And sometimes that's done, it can be done for various reasons. The child may be significantly late. The doctors sometimes choose to do that. Or sometimes there's a holiday coming up and the doctors would rather not be in the hospital at that time. And so they may encourage a woman to induce just so they won't be over the holidays or whatever. But in general, keeping your child to term is a very important thing to do for maybe the growth of the lungs of that child and potentially other things. Now, there can come a time where it actually, if a child isn't significantly long, it can actually increase. The British Medical Journal showed a study recently that showed that it actually can make it more likely that there will be a death of the child. So, or a stillbirth, as they call it. But let's look at this study here. So this study conducted comparing oxytocin or pitocin injecting into women, a standard labor inducer. They compared it with giving them Dill. Now it turned out that Dill induced labor more effectively than oxytocin. The pitocin can have certain side effects, or this oxytocin can have certain side effects like nausea, cramps, memory problems, these kind of things. And so obviously many times drug medication, though it can be very powerful, it can have its desired effect, it also often has undesired consequences, and those are the side effects. And so potentially this may not cause the same negative consequences, but this is something you want to think about. So if you are pregnant, you might want to be cautious in over-consuming the Dill, because you don't want to unintentionally induce your labor. But for most people, it's going to be fantastic. It's really healthy, even has medicinal benefits to diabetics or people potentially with high cholesterol. So this is a fantastic herb that you can just sprinkle over the various foods that you eat. And by the way, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. God bless and have a great day.